Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? Um, I am even more exhausted today than I was yesterday. It's just getting worse, which is not unexpected. Um, I already knew that this week was, oops, excuse me, guys. That is my hubs or a message coming in, which I think I do need to check really quickly. Um, okay, sweet. So I just wanted to send that off. Um, okay, right. So let me get my other microphone up. But yeah, I am not the most energetic. In fact, yes, I am more tired than yesterday. It is completely expected. This is how it goes every time. Once I start on a crash, I get more and more exhausted for a few days before I get better. For those of you guys who are not in the know about what is happening, um, John and I traveled to Singapore for 2 weeks, and then we um, came home about a week and a half ago, and John had one of the worst flares that he's had in a while. Um, which made, like, just put us straight back into caretaker mode, caregiver caretaker mode. Um, so we've been dealing with that. He healed a lot in a week. He's not completely there yet, but he's most of the way there. But he's good enough that he can go to work. And usually, what happens around this time when he goes off to work, and he's you know getting there, like he's getting much better, I crash. So this is common. This tends to happen every single time when he gets better. I will crash for about a week. It used to be that I would not expect this at all, and I would try to make myself do as much work as I normally do on a week like this. Um, and then I would feel like I'm crashing and burning, and I feel like I can't deliver, any content that I promised to deliver. I was going at one video a month, or sorry, one video a week, prior to our trip, and I can't do that. I'm, yeah, I just literally spent the last couple of hours right before this not doing anything, and and being tired, and just kind of like empty brain. I actually wanted to go out and get a refill of our decaf coffee and enjoy coffee, but I didn't even have the energy to do that. So, um, I'm not disappointed in myself. It's fully expected. It's just that feeling this tired sucks. Um, so, I think I did myself a favor and just expected that I was going to crash, because I definitely am. So, tomorrow there will not be a stream. I am just going to be teaching a few lessons tomorrow, and then calling it good and just resting in between. So, um, there we go. That is where we're at. I am even more tired and exhausted and brain dead than yesterday. But I'm still here because live streaming, I think, makes me feel like I'm alive, if that makes sense. So I'm sorry that this is not super chipper. I am sorry that this is maybe not the super excited Joanna that you guys might have been wanting to see. But this is real life. And for that, I am not sorry. I am sorry if your expectations for today were not met, though. So, hello, Hans. Hello, Oswaldo. Saxophone flutist, Jorge, Victor, flute berries. Yes, I do remember you. At least I remember your username. How are you? How's life? Welcome back. Thank you, Jorge. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys' understanding. I do recognize that I probably need to make an update video on the whole TSW situation, just to have like a nice kind of like a nice compact video that just explains what life is like 2 years later. I think it will be helpful for other people who are going through this to know at least one couple's story. Certainly not every case of TSW exhibits exactly the same way, but there are enough similarities that you can at least, like get some comfort from knowing that someone else has been through something really similar. So, oh, flute berries, you're Jenny flutist on Twitch. That's the connection there. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Welcome back. How are you? Right. I sat here for 2 hours and did not drink a single thing, which was a mistake. So I do have my whole liter of water here. So I'm going to be drinking that voraciously during this stream. But yeah, so it's not that I don't have a bunch of fun things that I want to do. I just don't have the energy to do them this week. What I was planning on doing was getting to the end of this week, just doing the bare minimum, and then I'm going to reevaluate how I feel on Monday morning. So on Monday morning, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be like, how do I feel right now? Do I feel like my energy is returning to me? Do I need half a week more of doing the absolute minimum? Do I need another full week of doing the absolute minimum? I'm going to guess that, like, on the trajectory that I'm on right now, I think that my reevaluation on Monday morning will probably get me to like get stuff going again. But yeah, so I know that this week I was supposed to do some deeds and stuff with you guys. That looks like it's not going to happen this week. Probably next week. So just putting that out there. I do not have the brain space to figure out a deeds this week. I need to go back to something that is familiar and that is comforting. So some flute practicing. Henry, hello. You could be better just surviving for now. I really understand that. In a way I wish I didn't, but I really do. And I just want you to know that you are supported here. We see you, we hear you. And yeah, everyone's going through something. So, yeah, just know you're not truly alone. And we're so happy that you reached out here to say that, to be very honest and transparent, that you are just surviving. Yeah, like I don't take that for granted. So, yeah. How are you, Henry? So Hans, you're going back to music school in the fall for music education. Oh my goodness, fantastic. Congratulations for that. Are you, is this a continuation of a degree, a different degree? I'm not, I feel like I'm very out of the loop. I know that you were going in music school for a while now. I just don't remember how long or anything like that. So you're going to finish your bachelor. Got it. Wonderful. Congratulations. So you're going in for, sounds like you're going in for your last year. That is a big fun year. I have to say that looking back at my music school days, I think my fourth year was my favorite. Just because it was fun. It was super fun. 2.5 years, only 2.5 years for your whole degree. Is that how fast you've done it? That's incredible if that's the case. For me, I took kind of your typical 4 years to get through music school, and even then, oh, are you going in for a second bachelor? Is that what's happening? Um, so 2.5 years, it looks like it's 2.5 years for this new degree. Is that right? Making it a total of 6.5. That, I would say, is kind of your typical time frame. Your typical time frame. I know that there's a lot of pressure out there to finish your bachelor degree in 4 years. But if you're doing sort of like an extended bachelor's, or double major, I heard in another case, I think someone told me yesterday, they're doing a triple major. If you're maxing out your college years, 6 years, 6.5 years is a fantastic time frame. So finishing up a degree after 2 degree switches. Yep. Typical. So, and if you're going to switch degrees, college is the time to do it, switching degrees in college is much faster, much less painful than switching your whole career when you're actually out on the workforce. So this is the time to do it. You're doing it at the correct time. 6.5 years to finish up your degree is fantastic. I would say that 6 to 7 years is kind of your actually a very typical time frame to get college done. I was a lazy person and just bit the bullet and finished music school in the degree. Well, actually, it was a different degree that I started with, slightly. It was a different, not degree, but a different major. I started out with general studies and finished with a performance major. I was just stubborn and lazy. I think if I were to do it again, I probably would have taken on at least a minor, not in English literature, but I probably would have done it in some sort of theater or acting or something like that. Or if not theater and acting, it would have been something with film. And I highly regret not doing that. I think in order to have gotten a really, really good education in film or in theater and stuff like that, I probably would have also had to stretch it out to 6.5 years. So, yeah. So you were originally nursing, then music performance and saxophone, then music ed, took a gap year this year. That's fantastic. This is the time to figure yourself out. College is such a great way to figure yourself out. Switching degrees is totally normal. There's nothing flaky or finicky about switching degrees and stuff like that. If you're going to switch paths, college is the time to do it. College is the time to figure that stuff out. And honestly, when you get out into the real world, having finished your degree in 6.5 years versus having finished your degree in 4 years makes no difference. No one cares. Absolutely no one cares. So taking university to really explore what makes you happy and fulfilled, and what can really be what can be the true thing that you want to pursue is perfect. So Tracy also, hi Tracy, welcome back. You agree it took you 5? Yep. So for Henry, it took you 7 years. If you include your breaks to get your bachelor's, it's not a race. See, there you go. I was lazy. I should have explored other paths, and these paths are paths that I really regret not pursuing, because I don't have a lot of time to pursue it these days. I pursue it when I do have time, but I don't have a lot of time. So yeah, I really, really, really regret not pursuing film or acting. So yeah. Let's see. Your bachelor's, Henry, ended up being just Japanese because of the lost era where you couldn't get your music credits done. Oh, I feel it, man. I feel it. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know, but I actually started my master's degree a half year later than I originally intended. And this was because the San Francisco State U, oddly enough, the system accepted me into a winter, like starting with a winter program. But the music school itself did not actually offer the first courses I needed to start my degree until the fall. So it just so happened that I essentially fell through the cracks in the system. So it wasn't really anybody's fault, but they still made up for it. I thought that was so sweet of them to do that. So they allowed me to go to join the orchestra for free. They allowed me to take a few lessons from my professor for free. So they, as a sorry that we are delaying the start of your master's, so things don't really often go to your original plan, but actually that ended up working out better for me because, in those months that I got to just join the orchestra band and go to lessons for free, I feel like my teacher was able to work on me a lot because I had a lot of my own personal baggage when it came to like my self-esteem while playing the flute as a flutist, etc. And she really helped nurture me. And now that I think back, I really needed that extra semester of no other academic courses and just my professor working on me. So in the end, it actually worked out better. It certainly felt like I was delaying my life, but it can always wait, guys. It can always wait. Hans, that's wonderful. You're excited to see where you're going to do your student teaching. Yay! Oh my gosh. We're so excited for you, Hans. So saxophone flutist, you haven't been to college yet, wondering if a music major is a super heavy course load. It depends on where you go. Different music schools have essentially different kind of emphases on certain types of courses. So we'll take UBC as an example. UBC is known for its contemporary music and composition. So the theory courses were absolutely cracked at UBC. They were fantastic courses. And they geared more towards contemporary music. Whereas when I went to San Francisco State, I had to take a remedial course in, counterpoint. Because, I had essentially one section on counterpoint when I was in UBC as part of my theory course, but not an entire course on counterpoint. But it seems that San Francisco State had more of an emphasis on more kind of like traditional theory. So, you get actually slightly different courses based on where you go, different emphases and stuff like that. So your course work and course load will somewhat depend on what the music school you go to, what that music school specializes in. At least this is in my experience. So, some people will go to music school and be like, oh, it was like a piece of cake. No big problem. Some people, what they do in the States is they take all their gen ed courses at a community college and then they transfer to a different school just for the music part. So they're already done their gen ed stuff and they don't have to worry about that anymore while they're doing their music stuff. Now, for me in Canada, in UBC, specifically in UBC at the time that I was taking UBC, I'm not sure if they've changed how they do things now. At the time that I was going to UBC for music, there was actually a stated thing in the requirements that said, as a music major, you do not need to take any math or science courses. And I was like, done. So I just did that. And, so I essentially didn't have to do any gen ed courses when I was in university, partially because I got some of it already kind of like done and out of the way because I did IB in high school. So I kind of lessened my workload by front loading it with IB. But everyone has a different approach to it, and as long as you get to the finish line, no one cares how you did it. So do it. You're never late on doing something. If you found out that I did it a certain way, but you're quote too late to do it that way, there's like a million other paths to get to the end. So there's so many ways you can go about it. So yeah, it's hard to say whether the course load is going to be very heavy where you're going. Really depends on the school, I would say. If you are coming from high school, where like if you're going straight from high school into university, likely you're going to feel a bit of a shock. It's almost like a lifestyle shock, because of like the workload in university does tend to be way more than high school. However, if you are doing like AP courses, IB or whatever, honors courses and stuff like that, then you're probably not going to feel like college is any worse. If like for me, I actually felt like college was easier than doing IB. So it kind of depends, right? So if you haven't been doing accelerated courses in high school, you're probably going to feel like college is crazy. If you do accelerated courses in high school, it kind of depends on where you go. It might feel easier to you. It might feel the same. It might feel harder. Really kind of depends. So Greg is saying being a music major is insanely busy. The insanely busy part, I would definitely agree with, because rehearsals and stuff like that. But I wasn't thinking it was just, I think I was only considering the actual course load of being a music major. I think that part is really dependent on the music school. But Greg is absolutely right. GOT wins here, saying that being a music major is insanely busy. It is. But it's because of rehearsals, small ensembles. You're doing juries. You're probably doing local competitions at the very least. Auditions, etc. Blah blah blah. So you're preparing for your recitals, etc. So there is all of that. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else are we talking about? Ooh, fun, Hans. Oh, that's gonna be so fun. Yeah. See, Henry's also saying this. Gen Ed at a community college is a really good idea. Yeah, I've heard across the board. It's a fantastic idea. Um, yeah. It's much more worth your money to go to a community college to get your gen ed done. So this is all for those of you guys who are listening overseas. This is what you have to do in the US. So in the US, you have gen ed courses, general education courses that you need to get done that give you sort of like a general, more like higher level learning than what you would receive in high school. So you have a bunch of requirements to do that in what's like the first and second year of university, right? So that's how it works in the U.S. I know that it works very differently elsewhere in the world. Yeah, no math or science at all. Exactly. At UBC, there was actually you could almost call it a clause in the requirements for graduation. It actually straight up said you do not have to take any math or science courses, and I was like, yes. Oh, shoot, Greg. I didn't know that you were doing jazz and classical studies in the same semester. That is brutal. Ouch. Ouchie. Oh, there you go. Okay, so saxophone flutist, you're doing AP courses. Yeah, so AP courses are definitely going to help, most likely will probably help lessen the load when you're in university. AP courses are tough, man. My brother took AP courses. I did not, because I took IB. So I do know secondhand how difficult AP courses are. So Hanson, hello and welcome back. I recognize your name. How are you? But there you go. So thank you all so much for dragging me into this conversation. This was super fun. School is great. It's a great time. I kind of wish I made more of it. I think that's that is one of the regrets that I have. Did I have to take a second language class? I did in high school, but not in university. Yeah. Wow, Henry. So you took AP Music Theory exam despite there being no course you could take at your school. I didn't even know that was possible. That's possible? Wow, I've learned something new. So Greg, the jazz department at your school is very tough. The teacher you had for combo was also just as brutal. Oof. You're practicing more for your jazz stuff than your classical clarinet performance stuff. Oof. Oh, oof, man. Oof. That's crazy. Oh, interesting, Henry. I didn't know you could just apply to take any of the AP exams. I'm guessing you can essentially just self-study then. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. Yeah, Slim Dancer, I have heard that in some universities or in universities in other countries as well require you to take a second language. I have heard of this before, but in the US you don't have to. And I believe in Canada you don't have to. Only in high school. They only require it in high school. Yeah. So you took the AP Psych course as well, Henry. Almost failed, but was the only one in the class who got a 4. Everyone else got 2s or 3s. Almost failed is not failed. So the teacher tried to claim you cheated. Yo, if you cheated, you would have gotten a 2 or 3. Come on. Oh, that's horrible. Strongly considering doing a minor in Spanish. That's fantastic. I mean, if you have enough of the creds, that's actually how I ended up with my English Lit minor. It was because I just had enough credits that if I just took 2 summer courses, I would complete an English Lit minor. So that's what I was literally called in for advising, for course advising. I didn't even set up this meeting. I recall being told to come in to meet for it because my course advisor had been reviewing my courses and they were like, you need to declare an English Lit minor. You this is ridiculous how many English Lit courses you're taking. Story of my life, guys. Story of my life. Like, a lot of my schooling was not my own choice. I was scammed into IB diploma. I wanted to take, was it IB certificate, I believe is what it's called, is when you only take IB in certain courses, but you don't do the holistic program. I got conned into doing the diploma because I was apparently I looked too bored in my math class. So I was conned into taking math higher level instead of standard level, and then basically going into full diploma program instead of certificate. I literally looked too bored. And I got called in and was like, you need to take a higher level course. Have you guys noticed that I'm lazy? I'm a lazy person, especially when it comes to school. I'm a lazy person. I get called in and told that I need to stop looking so bored and take harder classes. The only reason you didn't get a good grade is because you didn't want to do the homework. Henry. Self-study sounds better than being in a classroom with teenagers. Well, you're not wrong. Flutist. So I did actually self-study geometry. I know this sounds crazy to y'all, but I was promised a place in like a geometry course in high school. And then they couldn't deliver. The school couldn't deliver. So they asked me if I would be okay self-studying, and they just enrolled me into a geometry course where I would have to go like once a quarter or so to a different school to take an exam. I studied on my own, did my own homework. I had to like mail in my homework and stuff like that to be graded. It was actually kind of nice. Oh, fun. You audited a graduate seminar in 12th century Japanese, Henry. That's so fun. Oh, Greg, that's so sad that your school made you hate jazz. Kind of your first, because it was your first exposure playing it. Once you graduated, you started going to jazz jams in your area, and that made you fall in love with and starting to play and learn jazz. That first impression can be just so bad, eh? I'm so sorry you had that terrible first impression, but I'm so happy you were able to like heal from it and like turn around and make it your own. Like, goodness. Oh, man. I probably need to talk to a therapist about my own, excuse me, my own similar situations. Guys, I had spicy noodles for lunch, and I think some of that acid is coming right back up. My gosh, I'm such an old person. $3 hour difference between a certificate in Spanish and a minor in Spanish. Wow. I see. We're all lazy in some way or another. I suppose so. I suppose you are correct. Hey, Michael, how are you? Are you late? I don't know. I haven't started playing the flute yet, so probably not. Susie, hello and welcome back. I hope you've been well. Geometry is the hardest to learn on your own. You know, weirdly enough, I did not actually find it that hard to learn on my own. I don't know why, but I personally, I found that out of all of the math topics out there, I found geometry to be easiest for me to understand. There was something a little bit more concrete, I feel, about geometry than, like, for example, algebra, calculus, et cetera, pre-calculus, I don't know, the whole permutations, combinatorics, stuff like that. I was so bad at that stuff. I was so bad at that stuff. Yeah, you love spicy noodles. So I didn't have fire noodles. I had shin ramen. Have you guys had Korean shin ramen? It's so good. It's very spicy, but Lord on high. Did you hear that hiccup earlier? I didn't used to do that. I used to be able to just have spicy noodles and it was like nothing happened. Now I'm hiccuping hours later. I'm breaking down, guys. Oh, that sounds so lovely, Michael. Off topic. Okay, sounds good. Off topic, but do I recommend Trevor James or Pearl flutes as a step-up instrument brand? Both are great and play wildly differently from each other, so you have to try both. They play wildly differently from each other. Pearl, in my experience, tends to be a very kind of like bottom-heavy flute. Like tends to like you have to open up the bottom of your mouth a lot. The Trevor James. I mean, I have a Trevor James here. Although I have a Trevor James copper, so it may not play like a Trevor James silver. But my impression is that the Trevor James is at least not as bottom heavy as the Pearl. That's all I can really think of in my exhausted brain right now. But yeah, they are wildly differently from each other. Tracy, you're so lazy that you're watching me instead of practicing. I am talking to you guys instead of practicing. That is how tired and lazy I am. Interesting. So, Hans, you've heard that geometry is highly liked by creatives as it's very visual. That is exactly how I feel about it, and I am a creative. So I am one of those people, I guess. Yeah. So Susie, you have to take calculus for your degree. You suck at math. Your major was biology. Oh, oof. Yeah. Whew. I'm not very good at calculus. I struggled to get like sort of like a mid 80s, low 80s, mid 80s grade in my my high school math classes. Like it was tough. Like I worked hard for like my 85-ish degrees percent. See my brain. Yeah. What will blow my mind? The spicy noodles. Hey Mandy, how are you? Welcome back. How is life? Okay, I can kind of see that we're sort of like calming down a little bit in the chat here. So I am going to let's see. You chose to take pre-calculus in high school and it was hard. Yeah, it was. Yeah, agree. I'm gonna start practicing. I'm probably not gonna practice for very long today, just because like my brain is so dead right now. But I do want to play. So here's the plan. I did think of this plan right before I came on stream. So let's move to this screen. So we see here our list, right? And what I am realizing is if I simply start from the top and go to the bottom again, I'm probably not going to get to the Genshin Impact Rapid as Wildfires theme, which will make me very sad indeed. So I'm going to practice what I preach, which is I usually tell my students that they always need to do their very basic warm-up. And then right after that, though, you can just pick up where you last left off the day before. Now, we basically finished off number 5 yesterday. So I was thinking today we are going to have me play harmonics just to get a feel of what I'm doing today, how I'm playing today. So we're going to do that. And then we're just going to go straight to number 6. We're going to practice Rapid as Wildfires for a little bit. And then maybe go back to number 2. This is what I tell my students to do, and I am going to exemplify it today. Now, one more quick update for you guys. I found a plug, a flute plug, that is. So I have plugged my right hand ring finger key because I just realized I really can just pop it out for whenever I decide that I do want to slide off of that for a very specific piece. When I am practicing essentially like technically classical repertoire thingy majiggers, I'm gonna leave it in because I feel justified knowing that there are many other female professional flutists out there who also plug it, because there's just no point fighting your own hand size. You cannot change your hand size. Sometimes it just be the way it be. And this is essentially a modification to make playing the flute cleaner and actually more healthy for my hand, because I am noticing that I am causing myself tension by having to force myself to plug that hole with my finger. But when I reach over to the bottom pinky keys, I have small hands and there ain't nothing I can do about it. My ring finger is going to rotate right off of that key. The meat of my finger is just not thick enough. It is literally too thin to stay on top of that hole while I go nuts on the pinky keys on the bottom. So I've decided to eat my words from before. I'm just taking my words that I said before about how I am leaving that unplugged so that I can slide around whenever I want. I am taking those words and I'm stuffing them in my mouth and I'm chomping on them and eating them and digesting them. We're just going to try it this way now because I have no cares left, and that is said in a very PG way. I was totally going to say something else, but realized I definitely have minors watching me. Nom, nom, nom. You're so welcome about the chat about music school. I really enjoyed it myself. Oh, Greg, I missed when you asked that. Have I tried it? Are you saying have I tried this? Plugging this? I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you can, I'm sorry, I got carried away talking. So if you can just clarify for me what I've tried or what you're asking me that I've tried, I would appreciate that. So Mandy, life is good, no longer at this stressful job and on summer break from school. Yeah. Awesome. So let's see. For third octave F sharp, you lean your first finger on the right hand. First finger on the right hand to press the key, 2 keys to the right of the G. Wait. You lean your first finger in the right hand to press the key, 2 keys to the right. To the 2 keys to the right of the G key. 1, 2. Instead of pushing down on R2. Oh! I haven't tried that. No, but it does the same thing, right? Like that's what makes an F sharp. Oh, I have never tried that before. I want to try that. Wait. Okay. Well, time for me to get up, so I'm going to do this. Okay. We'll switch to my lapel microphone for now. Okay, cool. So, there is one more thing that I wanted to put out there. So you know how I made the call that I was totally going to get like DMCA'd for the Chaminade? I totally did. And then I think yesterday I mentioned to you guys that the person who claimed it decided that it was still their recording and not public domain. So here's what I'm planning to do. I'm going to take a look at exactly how much of it is being claimed, and we'll see what happens. I may end up having to mute it. If I have to mute it, what I plan on doing is recording that bit that needs to be muted and uploading that as a separate video. And then that way I can mute it on that bit, that whole stream, and start making at least a few cents off of it again. Because right now I'm not making any money off of that stream. And then I will just offer up this part that was previously muted. I will offer this up to the DMCA gods on its own as a separate video. Let me know if you guys think that is an okay idea. I feel like that's a good compromise to do. So that is the purpose of a Barossa F sharp key. Oh, that it only closes that key. Oh, interesting. Is it like really non-resistant? Is that why it's gonna blow my mind? Okay, I'll try it. Let me try this funny F sharp. It's a lot more open. It's less resistant. The quality of the sound is more open. Okay, in terms of how it sounds, it's subtle. In terms of how it feels, you can definitely feel it opening it up. I don't know why I never thought of trying to do that. Now that I'm trying it, it seems really freaking obvious. Makes second octave F sharp better too. Mm. There's a tuning difference too. Yeah, it's less resistant, it's more open. I feel like this is such a great that is a great little trick. I feel like, especially in sort of like a recording situation, or like in any sort of like a performance situation where you have the time to stick your finger over there. That's it. That is great. That is really great. So the Brosa F sharp key eliminates the need to lean your finger over. That is cool, man. That is very cool. Thank you so much for showing me. Thank you. What a neat little trick. I've learned so many funny little like fingering stuff from you guys. That's why you want one on your forever flute. I feel it. I feel it. Like, I wonder if like, is it at all possible? Like, so do they make some sort of, is it like a thing where it's like an extra little like little doodad over here, like on the side or something? I'm just gonna look up Brosa key and take a look at it. Optional flute keys. Less common. Brosa F sharp. It's a key located by the D key. Okay. Then I have seen this before. I've seen this through the video camera on one of my students' flutes. One of my students' flutes has it. I will say one of the reasons that I heard that it is very uncommon these days is because it's very finicky to fix. That's what I heard, is that it's finicky to fix. But dang, that sounds good. It sounds very good. So CYT8284, hello and welcome to the stream. Do I have any tips on deciding between two trial instruments when the differences are minute and both are completely acceptable? Do a blind test with your friends. So record yourself playing the exact same things. So maybe something more lyrical and another thing more technical. But have it be exactly the same thing on both instruments and just name it number 1 and number 2. And don't tell people what it is. Send the recordings off to your friends and see what they vote on. You can also send these recordings off to a friend. Have them rename the files so that you also don't know. And see which one you like. Like, don't listen to it for like a week or something, so you forget which one is which. And see which one you like more. But blind tests are really the way to go. So some people do this live. So if you can get your friends over live, and then you can play for them flute 1 and flute 2, and don't tell them. Have them turn around essentially, or close their eyes or something so they don't know. And then, yeah, so very common to do these types of blind tests to really nail which one you want it, which one you want. Another thing to think about is also what you're playing it for, because if you're doing this at a higher level, a lot of times it boils down to what group do you play in, what type of music do you play, etc., etc. But I think in your situation, you may want to go with the blind test first. So cool. Have I seen the company that made another thumb key? I don't think so. If you can find the name of the company, please put it in the chat, Linny. How are you, Linny? Okay, so let's do some harmonics. We're not going to do a timer today. I do plan on doing a hard stop again at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Right now it's 5:02 Pacific time. So I'm not going to be practicing for very long today, but I already knew that I was going to be like this, so it's fine. Let's do some harmonics, see how we're playing today, and then we're going to do some Genshin Impact Rapid as Wildfires. I'm going to pop in a headphone. You're very welcome, CYT. Hope you are having a grand day as well, and that you are enjoying flute shopping. It should be an enjoyable experience. You should be having fun. You know, because like I feel like if we're not having fun, that usually ends up kind of like coloring your decision on what to get. So make sure you're having fun. All right, let's do some harmonics. Yesterday was fine. I think I'm not resonating high enough in the mouth. So I might be doing that thing where I'm trying to open up the lip hole today. It might just be me reverting back to old habits, I think. Enjoyable to be able to actually play Losi without calling in an assistant to hold the keys shut. Oh, is that what's happening to your old flute? I feel you on that. I feel you. Okay, we're going to do some Genshin Impact, Rapid as Wildfires, just for fun. I'm just going to see how much I remember from before. We'll see what happens. Down to E. Okay. Okay, I need to work on my high G. So I think I'm flattening my fingers, flailing around generally. Yes, Bill, this is still live. How are you doing? Okay, so what I'm realizing is I think I am pushing the flute towards me too much, and that's causing balance problems when I play the high G. So I think I need to get my hand under the flute a little bit more. Okay. So that I think is what I need to work on. That might have contributed to my high A flat sounding really weird yesterday. So yeah, I need to get my hand a little bit further under the flute, my left hand. I can see how that makes that easier, but yeah, definitely falling back into some old habits. Not that surprising because I think this was something that I very recently corrected right before I left for vacation. So usually the skill that kind of goes out the window is the one you just learned when you go on a break. So that's okay. All according to Keikaku. Do you guys know that reference? Okay. I feel like I got what I needed out of this. Like, I understand what I need to work on. So I'm just going to leave it there. Definitely I'm feeling like I'm pushing in some parts of my mouth that I feel like I probably shouldn't because I'm just so tired. So that part, I think I will just let that be what it is. Just let it be. We're going to move on back to De La Sonorite. we're just kind of rotating through our list here. So, Ruth, you've been lurking while doing homework. How are you? I hope homework is going well. Okay, let's do page 22 of Moyse de la Sonorite. We're doing page 33. Oh, sorry, page 22, number 33. So this one is a low C sharp bass note. We're jumping to every other note in our range. And we're going to start off tonguing everything. So this is probably going to be slightly child's play now with my ring finger plugged. Okay. Interesting that I was overblowing that one very specific C sharp at the bottom there. So now I'm starting to wonder if before, when I was always struggling to keep this ring finger key closed, I wonder if I was compensating with my breath and just pushing more air. And then maybe now I don't need to. Yeah, ring finger right hand. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I wonder if I've actually been doing myself a disservice this whole time and kind of like accidentally making myself like compensate with my air, like to push that note out. Because that one specific C sharp that I was cracking was after already playing two low notes, one of which was also a C sharp. So I wonder if I've gotten like subconsciously used to like pushing extra compensation air after playing low notes for a little while, because by that point my ring finger starts slipping off the key. So Ruth, going well, had an intense paper due last weekend, almost recovered. Hey! Okay, we're gonna do a second articulation, which is slurring from the C sharp to every other note. Okay, that's just me being silly. Going from low C sharp to low B means that you have to press both the C and the D rollers down at the same time. And it's kind of impossible for my very small, short pinky to close them at the same time. I think if you had a bigger pinky, you could do it. But with my tiny little baby hands, I can't do it. It's okay. I definitely can tell I'm very tired today. And so I'm kind of like, it's a bit of a struggle to get myself to relax. But it's nice to know I can still do it even in this state. Like, it still sounds okay. So I'm going to give myself a pass for that. A little bit of circular breathing just because we still have a little bit of time. Here we go. Okay. Hey, Saturday, you're making jewelry, but you're listening. Fantastic. Hey, awesome, Bill. Just keep working at it. Those low notes do require you to be a little bit more relaxed in order to play them well. So just keep yourself nice and relaxed and you will eventually get there. Try not to stuff the air into the flute, all right? Just make sure that your airstream is being cut in half on the opposite edge of the lip hole is cutting your airstream in half. So it needs to cut your airstream in half in order to make a sound. You need a lower air pressure the lower you go. So the further you are away from the opposite edge of the lip hole, that's the slower the air pressure it's going to catch. Make sure you're not like trying to stick the air into the flute, because if you do, you're probably kind of like counteracting what you actually need to do. So just a quick tip there. Okay, we're going to try some circular breathing. Hit my own glasses. It was not bad. Better than yesterday, weirdly enough. I did one circular breath that felt really comfortable. And I will take that as a win because I've never felt it that comfortable before. I clearly could not reproduce it right after, but I was like, whoa, I can actually feel myself inhaling comfortably while pushing out the air. So I'm okay with this. I will count that as a win. Okay. You're welcome, Bill. Do I have any suggestions how to relax your mouth after doing an intense project, not realizing your mouth has been pursed the whole weekend? You might want to look into mouth exercises and stretches, like almost like TMJ type of like stretches and exercises. I don't have, I think, quite the same experience as that, but it reminds me of my TMJ students. So you might want to look into those types of exercises, because those types of exercises will like relax your mouth essentially. So unfortunately, I don't have much more experience there. That's just what I know from working with my students who have TMJ. but I hope that at least gives you a direction to go on. Okay, so 403 is where we're at. Okay, all right. So we may not do all of these. We may not do all of them, but we'll see how many we get through. These are, this is a long exercise on 7th chords with the bass note of F sharp. So let's try this. Hello, Bobby. All the way from Northern Ireland. Fantastic. I hope you're having a great, I guess, what time is it over there? Late evening? I am playing, actually, you know what? Let me just, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to give my bot's answer for this. This is a 10K Rose Gold Brannon with a 14K Monka, 14K Mopani lip plate Rose Gold Monka. Yes. Oh, let me just check. Oh, there it is. Okay, Nightbot's alive. So there you go. That so if you didn't catch that, there's my bot writing it out for you. There you go. Okay, let's do our last one and then we're going to call it for today. Thank you for joining us though. 1:30 a.m. Holy crap. I hope you're having a lovely night though, and that hopefully we can keep you company a little bit. Yeah. TMJ, exactly, Ruth. Like you might want to look into those because if you're complaining of sort of like tightness here and stuff like that, at least for most of my students, it tends to be TMJ related. So I'm not a doctor though, so please do not treat that as a diagnosis or anything. Please get a professional medical opinion, because I am not a medical professional at all. So, okay, here we go. Let's do the last one. I got a little lost in the middle, but that might just be my tired brain. So we'll do a little bit of the middle again. Okay, we're gonna count that as good. I'm gonna move my highlight to the E-Bear. So E-Bear did not happen today, but that is a-okay. We're just kind of rotating through our list here just to make sure we at least hit most of everything during this week. So this is actually something that I encourage my own students to do. If you find that you can only practice about 3 times a week, doesn't matter. Just take your practice checklist, whatever we end up putting on it, and just rotate through it according to how much time and energy you have. So as you guys can tell, I do not have a lot of energy today. Honestly, I feel spent. I feel spent right now. I feel like how I normally feel after a full hour of practicing. I feel that after half an hour right now. So, you know what? This is what I can give today. And so I'm just going to be like, this is my 100%. I gave my 100%. We did it. I'm going to celebrate that. And we're just going to put our flute away and move on with our evening. Thank you, Victor. I'm going to voraciously drink water now. Oh, okay. Bobby, you are looking into a William Haynes fusion. Those are beautiful flutes. I hope you have a lovely time trying that flute. So I think you're in for a great time. That is fantastic. How many years starting from scratch before you can even imagine trying an exercise like that? Well, first off, you have to learn all the fingerings. So what I would suggest, weirdly enough, it might only take a few years with enough practice. What I would suggest in your situation, if you haven't found her yet, please watch the flute practice here on YouTube. She's a great friend of mine, Tatiana, a lovely person, specializes, in my opinion, specializes in teaching adult amateurs. And her scale book, the Flute Practice Scale Book, is a book designed for returning students or first timers on the flute, especially people who are adults. So it's designed in that it kind of like you can use it in a variety of different ways. She at the end of the book, she actually has a little evaluation so you can test what level of playing you're at. And then you can use the book. She gives you sort of like a daily schedule of what to practice. And she takes you through the book in a at a level that is appropriate for you. So she has like novice, developing, I think it's novice. It's like some sort of beginner, like very beginner. There's very beginner, novice, I think, developing, intermediate, and advanced. And then after you have done the whole book on advanced, you can probably move on to something like this. So yeah, the flute practice scale book. So you think you're subscribed already. Fantastic. I don't even get commission for it, but I'm just straight up tell you, go buy her book. I get all of my students, my adult students, actually all my students are adults, but I get all of my students who are essentially not in music school to get that book. It's fantastic. The little daily kind of practice routine that you're doing, if you only have time to just read through everything, my students have reported that it only takes them about 5 minutes to just read through what they're supposed to do that day. So if you're really low on time, it only takes you 5 minutes to do what you're supposed to do that day. But if you have more time, you could like repeat things, try things out. If you make mistakes here and there, and you can, you know, like woodshed them and get them up to speed. Then you can, most people say that it takes them about 15 minutes to practice the technique, practice what they're supposed to that day, according to the little schedule that she's given, which is fantastic. You know, it's not a huge time sink, but it's regular. That's what you want, because you want your technique to essentially be a flute workout. It's really more about just showing up and doing your sets and reps. That's really all it is. I think I had the misconception before that I was supposed to perfect it before I let it go, but that's not how working out goes. So that's what I would suggest in terms of like, if you want to get to this level of technique playing, you got to just have a routine and stick with it. And the flute practice scale book will give you that routine. It takes out the mental labor completely about how to practice your technique. She writes everything out for you, and every single key, writes it all out again for you. And like every single exercise she gives you, she writes it out for you again in every single key. It's fantastic. So yeah, and since you have a good amount of time, I think you can actually do her 6-day-a-week schedule. So I highly recommend that. The flute practice scale book. I do not get a commission for saying this. She's just my friend, and it's a great book. It is exactly the scale book that everyone needs. Like, it's the scale book that I wish I had when I was learning, like first learning the flute. Like, it's so great because you can, even if you're starting out as a complete beginner, that book is going to get so much use because you'll go through it once, completely novice, go through it again, developing, go through it again as an intermediate, go through it again, advanced. It's fantastic. James Golly grew up 13 miles from where you live. That's crazy, Bobby. Oh my gosh. That is incredible, Bobby. Thank you so much for telling us. So Saturday is saying that Tatiana's channel helped you come back to playing. Yes. She's really good about that. Like, she's very conscious about sort of like the mental health surrounding practicing. I was not in a good place to make the kinds of videos that she can make about that topic because I myself have been struggling with my own practice anxiety, which I will make a video about someday. And so I'm so glad that she is here to fill in that need in the community for those kinds of like encouraging words and that like wonderful outlook on what to focus on when you're practicing, what not to focus on when you're practicing. And like, she's a wonderful person. She's a really, really wonderful person. Awesome, Bobby. Thank you for sharing. And she got you back in shape. Oh, that's so fantastic, Saturday. If you guys haven't, and you feel that, you know, people like the flute practice have really helped you, I will say that as a person who sometimes randomly gets messages either here in the chat or just random emails, messages like through my website, sometimes I get random messages saying, hey, I got into the flute because of you, or I got back into the flute because of you, and here's my journey, and here's where I'm going now, and like, hey, thanks for being there for me on the internet. Those messages freaking make my week. Like, it's surreal. It's surreal to read those kinds of messages. So, if y'all love Tatiana, go send her a message right now and tell her how she has helped you, how much you enjoy the flute now because of her. Let me tell you, you will make her day. You'll make her day. You will. She like it like receiving messages like that makes everything I do 1,000 times worth it. So, Elenis, thank you so much. I need to tell you that you need to please be very careful. My chat rules do say not to say how old you are or anything like that. Saying that you're from Brazil is totally fine because that's a very large area. That's totally fine. But in the future, please do not put your age and stuff like that. I need you guys to remain safe here on the internet, as safe as I try to make my little space here on YouTube. I'm still very aware that this is a public forum. This is a public place on the internet. So in the future, can you please refrain from giving your any sort of identifying things about you? Okay, Elenis? I hope I'm saying your name right, but thank you so much for joining, and we appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. And thank you for liking what I do. But yeah, so all good. Thank you, Bobby. I do see that. Thank you so much. And yeah, so yeah, if you guys can go and like go send Tatiana a message, just tell her how her work has really helped you. Please go make her day. Let me tell you, we content creators are very lonely. And when we get messages like that, oh, it lights a fire under our butts and we just keep going, you know? So like, yeah, please do that. Please do that. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to take my leave now. I love y'all so very much. Please stay happy, healthy, and safe to the best of your ability. I know that life is not always, you know, predictable. So just do what you can to take care of yourself. Yeah, have a great rest of your day, night, wherever you are. And I will see you guys on Thursday. So no stream tomorrow because I need a break. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. yeah, take care of yourselves, because there's no music without the musician. That's what I'm gonna go do now. All right. Thanks, Steven. All right, laters, guys. Bye.